Howdy, hey people. You may be wondering, why am I in the asylum? Well, my question for you is why are you not? 3 square meals a day, and don't have to deal with management anymore. Okay, look, I'll admit it sucks in here. So, I was thrown in here, not because I wanted to be, but because I, I kind of had a small psychological break. Started throwing poop everywhere. Called myself the poop man. Not my proudest moment. Now, how did I reach such a psychological break? Let me tell you.
GMTK Game Jam 2024
Let's see what this
begins
theme is.
right now. Your goal over the next 4 days is to make a game that fits the following theme: built to scale. That's right. I want to see games that make size, scale, and dimensions a key part of the gameplay. I want to see games about team.
I felt fucked. Now, this isn't the most out there theme there could have been, but to create a interesting game based around scale takes a lot of effort and creativity. Which, to be fair, they were probably trying to encourage that level of creativity. But the thing about creativity is that it's hard to force. But I got to brainstorming. Maybe I'd make a game where the enemies dying scales the player up. Or maybe I'd make a game where you have to scale your choices between 2 options. Maybe I'd make a game about taking steroids. But in the end, I chose the theme of building up a pyramid scheme. The idea was simple. There'd be a platforming part including a climbing mechanic. There'd be a dialogue part including talking to people to sell your items. Then you'd be able to upgrade your platforming abilities with the money you get from the dialogue game. Very simple, effective. Within 3 hours, I had the first prototype working. And yep, it works. Oh, my poor jump is a little baby hop. Takes so much power just to do a little hop. Moving around, jumping, and interacting with stuff worked. A little bit later, I had a prototype that allowed you to climb.
This is really messed up. Because vertical works properly, but horizontal movement. Yes, this orbits around the object as I expected it to. Yeah, okay. This is closer to expectations.
And then I started working on the dialogue UI. Now, the dialogue system is where I probably made my first mistake. I was trying to make a really simple UI for this, but the problem was that I thought of a way of displaying it that just doesn't make sense realistically. I was trying to emulate like a phone box style message, but in the end I didn't want to make something that was dynamic like that. So instead I made a pre-made layout and then tried to apply all the text one by one using an iterator over an array. And this just made it just way too complicated. It would have been less complicated if I had just made individual objects that were dynamically placed. But I realized that way too late. Anyhow, attempting to make this overcomplicated dialogue UI just took way too long. It felt like I was spending my whole day on it. Don't get me wrong, I knew I could pull off the system, primarily because I just made a visual novel engine from scratch. But yeah, it was just a stupid amount of work compared to what I could have done if I had just taken a second beforehand to think about things. And really that's the issue, I just didn't think about it before I did it. If I just realized that a simpler dialogue system would have been just fine for this case, I would have had so much more time to spend on the other aspects of the game, I would have just gotten a much more polished result. Anyhow, once I had the dialogue system working, I moved on to level design. You start off in a small town, surrounded by mountains. In order to progress, you need the climbing skill. And in order to unlock the climbing skill, you have to purchase it in the shop using pyramid points. The way you obtain pyramid points is by selling your products to the consumers directly. Some of them will just accept it no problem. Others will ask for things. This one guy wants you to take the pizza off of his roof, but most of them just require you to buy something in the shop. I wish I had more mini quests, but I didn't know how to make them interesting and not seem like a fetch quest. But maybe since it's a platformer, I should have done more platformer things, which is what I ended up doing on the next level, which you reach by climbing up the beanstalk at the end of the first level. This level is very surreal-esque. I kind of wanted to try to make it similar to some Mario Sunshine secret levels. The secret levels that aren't actually secret, since they're quite literally needed to beat the game. But I made it so there's a lot of platforms moving around, and it's not 100% linear, though it almost is. And from the clouds, you go into the pyramid, which is the end of the game, because I didn't want to take too long designing levels to miss out on other things. Other important things like sound and making the options menu work were of a priority, so I got around to it. Thankfully, since I had just come off of making another game, I had a decent little options system working that I just grabbed and plopped it in. I changed some things and made it work. In the end, I had to change some things to support the player loading between levels, but surprisingly not as much as I expected. And before I knew it, the game jam was over. And on this final day where I submitted, I had been up 17 hours straight, streaming and working on this game. After which I became Poop Man and ended up here.
That was the timeline of how things went. And honestly, I think I'm pretty happy with the game. There's a few things I would change with a little bit more time, but, you know, it's a game. Yeah. But here's the fun part. Here's the bugs.
How? I just Huh? I'm so confused. Oh no! Oh, he went idle and has just accepted his fate. Yeah, that's it. That's the game. And that's the video. If you liked it, please leave a like. If you want more of these videos, please subscribe. I have a few in the works already. And if you want to play this game, it's available over on itch.io right now, link in the description. And if you'll excuse me, I have to go back to enjoying my straitjacket.